What's going on, families? Peace and light, peace and love. Thank you for connecting with me today. I got so much that I want to go over, so I'm going to do my absolute very best to get through this in a most efficient way. But anyway, at the end of the day, if you don't know who I am Shakesha. I'm a divine priestess, a beauty mystic, an astro-numerative intuitive, and the author of Holistic Appeal. You can cop this on Amazon. I'm about to go back and republish it. I think that what shows up when you go and look for Holistic Appeal is the ebook version, so there is an ebook version. You can definitely get that, but then they have it like where you have to swipe to the side in order to get the print book. I'm a print book girl, and I'm noticing that that's the way they did that. I can't fix that shit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to the old computer where all of the other publishing goodies is at and all of that shit, and then redo it so that it can be a little bit more easily found. But you can definitely cop this book, right? Because this is a concise, holistic approach that's going to get us in alignment with the most appealing part of ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We talking star player connection out here in these streets, because I am here and it is my intention to empower with divine beauty, wisdom, and expression so that we can be out here shining our light, shining bright in these cosmic streets. And I give so much thanks, sincere gratitude to the divine plan of love that has been unfolding in my life. It is most gangster. Ashe, ashe, ashe. And I also want to send some love and light out to the soul family that's out there. Those of y'all that's connected, known and unknown, seen and unseen, all of those spiritual gangsters that's out there in these streets doing their thing. I need you to recognize, family, you are loved, appreciated, respected. I cherish you for real, for real. This work is so not easy. It is a constant confrontation of the self. Be encouraged. Keep it gangster out there, and don't let that shit ride. We got to hold each other accountable out here. So let's keep it gangster out here. We ain't time for us to be afraid, throwing that fear factor all the way out the door. Without a doubt. Then let me oh man, I had so many things that was going on. I got me a sewing machine, so I'm going to learn how to make clothes. This is something that I have wanted to do for a very long time, and I was, doing a little something something with it like many years ago. Let that shit fall off by the wayside. Even was like really getting so into this, you know what I'm saying, this whole thing with, just creating clothes. It just always intrigued me. It always just lit me up. And so I'm so excited about that. I had a friend of mine that gave me a sewing machine, and she was just trying to convince me how easy this was. And you know what I'm saying? You get it right away, you pick up pretty quickly, this and that and the other, it's all dependent. Some things I pick up kind of easily, some things not so much. I show up late to the party oftentimes, you know. However, when I do get to the party, I get down. But with this particular thing, this sewing machine thing, it got me stumped. And I remember taking a home ec class, and right when they were about to teach us sewing is when I got transferred to another class. That was so unfortunate. I should have stopped that shit. But, at the time I liked choir, all the cool kids was in the chorus and shit. So that's where I wanted to be at. And, did a disservice to myself, I see. Because this was definitely something that I always wanted to do. And so, just working with that is just really like giving me new momentum. I have a friend of mine that is going to show me how to work a sewing machine. It seems like, I kind of lose contact with folks that teach me how that are willing to teach me how to operate this sewing machine. I had the one girlfriend, we worked together, and then when we no longer worked together, we kind of, fell off on the communication tip and everything. Um, And then, I had an aunt who was going to teach me how to do that. Unfortunately, she passed away. Ashe to my Aunt Pearl. And then, now I have this friend, but now we got all of these tools. Like I got all of the tools. We got Skillshare, we got YouTube. There's always somebody out here in these streets. Somebody is probably teaching a class somewhere. No more excuses, Shakesha. Let's get about the business of doing something that you love. Just to have you something that just sparks a little joy in the life. So that's what I'm doing. Bringing that Pisces season, that creative energy in a big and powerful way. So we in the month of March, and March to me, in my humble opinion, is that creative expression energy, because 3, it deals with that creative expression being in the heart of Pisces season, and Pisces being one of the most creative zodiac signs that's out there in these streets, y'all. Let me tell you, Pisces season, the dreams is off the hook. You know what I'm saying? It goes down. It's the most imaginative, the most mystical, you know what I'm saying? The most sensitive zodiac energy. And when I get into Pisces season, you know what I'm saying? Special shit happens. Special shit happens. So shout out to all the Pisces that's out there in the street. Matter of fact, today is my nephew's birthday. I got a lot of Piscean energy. My granddaddy, Shay, his birthday would be coming up in a few days. So, shout out to all of those Pisces, man. Nobody's loving you as strong like them Pisces are. Well, that whole energy. I ain't let me get out of that whole shit like that. But you know what I'm saying? I just experienced such profound love and support through those individuals that have been under the sign of zodiac or have strong Pisces placement on their astrology chart. But anyway, I ain't gonna sit with that for too long. I'm also learning how to size bras up. Let me tell you real quick, because this is some science right here. You use 2 bands, right? You use one for the band and one for the cup. So you get the measuring tape real easy. You take the band along up under the rib cage. I wish I would have brought my little thing with me, because I just found the directions to how to do this. And I was all excited. I said, oh shit, I'm gonna share this shit. Right. So you put it all along the rib cage. You put the measuring tape along the rib cage, and then you measure it there. And then the bus, you put it like right around the bus, like right along the bus, loose but slightly snug. You know what I'm saying? Loose but fit. So you get the measure in there. So let's say the band, which is, where you would like fasten the bra at and everything. Let's say the band is a 34, and then you put that up, and then it's like at a 36 or 38. You know what I'm saying? So then, you know what I'm saying? The 34, that's like, 1 cup. After you get up to 34, that's cup A, 36 is B, 38 is C, and so on and so on, right? And so once you get that band measurement, let's say like for me, it's probably gonna be somewhere in the 30s. You know what I'm saying? Fuck around 40 in these streets. I've been eating good, you know. So then we put that there, and then I'll measure it again. Every inch over the band is a cup, right? So let's say that band size, when you want to check the band, it's at 34. And then you measure it out on your bus, because that band is your 0 point. And every inch over that band is another cup. So let's say that the band is at 34, and then I got to the bust and I'm at 38. So at 34, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 cups, A, B, C, D. So that's a 34D right there. So this is, you know what I'm saying, how you do that with some accuracy and everything. One of the things that I really struggled with was really being able to find my proper bra size and everything. And I remember I had the instructions on how to do that, and I jotted it down and then put them somewhere in a drawer, file them somewhere, forgot all about that shit. But that's how that goes down. Super excited about that. So now I'm going to be right and exact talking about moving forward in 2024, all supported and shit, especially since I got them bullshitting ass underwires for my bras and everything. Them underwires, they do not serve at the end of the day. Now I'm hearing, that it does not support wellness. This is what I know for sure. You know what I'm saying? Because I can feel it energetically. So it's whatever though. Also, wanted to give a shout out to Shiva. I'm telling you, there was the great night of Shiva. This was on the 8th. This is called Mahashivaratri, right? So when we were in the cipher, the sister Doreen brought that up on Thursday. So shout out to her for bringing that to our attention. This is the year's most important celebration of Shiva. This is a sacred occasion because it marks the anniversary of the divine marriage between Lord Shiva and the goddess Parvati, representing in a celestial merger of cosmic forces. And then it also represents that balance between the masculine and feminine energy, right? So it was said on this street, now this is what they say, that the lingam of the light was revealed. And according to legend, those that worship Shiva on this night, by staying awake through the night, they're supposedly released from lifetimes of sin, like a lot of generational curses and shit like that, or you know what I'm saying, themes that come up. If you ever had Akashic readings, you'll notice like a lot of energetic themes, like unrequited love, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It shows up energetically within your new life if you got that past life reading, right? This is supposed to, you know what I'm saying, help and support and with that. But anyway, let me get back to the facts. Mahashivaratri is also known as the Great Night of Shiva. It holds a great amount of importance in the Hindu tradition globally. It signifies the celestial union of Lord Shiva and the goddess Parvati. I talked about that, and it portrays this cosmic dance of creation, of preservation, of destruction, right? And the partakers that follow this whole tradition, they do like fasting, meditation, ceremonial practice, and everything. All of these things to invoke divine blessings. Okay, so this occasion was definitely it fosters an atmosphere, right? Because I'm like, how do you worship this Shiva holiday? Because that Shiva is creator energy. It can be destructive energy too, but we all know that a lot of times we got to destroy some things in order for it to be created anew, right? However, with this energy and this particular celebration, there's an atmosphere of like being solemn and introspective. You know what I'm saying? This is that whole that hermit hangman energy, you know what I'm saying? That helps you to, you know what I'm saying, like really go within and reflect and everything. So this is, you know what I'm saying, that energy that's enveloping in the Shiva temples out here in these spiritual streets. Most gangster and auspicious time. I just thought that it was so profound because it was sitting right in the heart of Pisces season. And this being that time of heightened creativity, that sun is shining in Pisces in that time of heightened creativity. Then we have these eclipses that are coming up during this particular time that are coming up really soon. And so this is just like some really auspicious energy to kind of like launch projects along and shit like that. Like a lot of things that we haven't been able to get like the details fine-tuned on. You know what I'm saying? This is a very supportive energy in helping us move forward in that. Also, I don't want to forget about the Ramadan cats that's out here in these spiritual streets too. So Ramadan started yesterday. This was on the 10th on Sunday, and it's going to last until March the 9th, right after this total solar eclipse. So, you know what I'm saying? These cats right here, they go be in the cat bird seat energetically when all of this shit goes down and everything. So definitely shouts out to the Islam community out there doing that Ramadan fasting and everything. I might try to do a little something with all of that and everything. But yeah, definitely a good idea building that spiritual man up and whatnot. And I know that this is a time they do this all the time and everything, but I just, you know what I'm saying? The way that I'm just looking at energetics is just so profound, in my humble opinion. But anyway, let me move forward because I wanted to talk a little bit about our blind spot and what that looks like for us in our life. And of course, I always roll with the astrological perspective on a lot of things because I just truly see how the astrology chart is the divine blueprint in our lives. The blind spot, in my opinion, and how I interpret it, it shows up in the house of Pisces. So let me just talk a little bit about like blind spots so we on the same page of that shit, right? In anatomy, the dictionary gives the definition of it being the point of entry of the optic nerve on the retina that's insensitive to light. It's also the area where a person's view is obstructed. They'll tell you about like those angled rear view mirrors and how they eliminate blind spots on the sides of the car and everything. So this was at the time before. I remember when you had to check the blind spot by just, you know what I'm saying, turning all the way around to look and make sure of it. Your mirror wasn't doing it for you. It didn't help you at all. We gotta thank goodness for technology now. We got the cameras, we got all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? The car beeps, all of that shit. Let us know where that blind spot is. But let's explore this blind spot just a little bit because the blind spot can have a vast variety, of how people interpret what blind spots mean. Definitely on that car situation, been through that change and shit like that. However, also on a subject like one where somebody is kind of ignorant or being biased to something, you know what I'm saying? Where, you know what I'm saying, people, you know what I'm saying, maybe they look at something, but they don't see it. I remember when I was working with this dude a long time ago, he show up late all the time. He in there cutting up, acting all types of fool. I ain't know who he knew, what time it was with all of that, but that he just never lost his job. You know what I'm saying? They just would never get rid of them, would never get rid of this cat. So, that was, you know what I'm saying? And we would say that management had a blind spot for this dude right here. I don't know what he knew or what he saw, but you know what I'm saying? Definite blind spot for this particular cat. I also worked with this chick too. Another really good example of blind spot. Like she had no love, zero, zip, zilch, nada for hip hop music. And I'm talking about, I know don't nobody want to hear all that gangster bullshit sometimes. I used to like it a lot though. And sometimes, you might catch me sneaking into the vault. However, she had no love for it. Like she couldn't see anything good about it. From the melodic jazz renditions of A Tribe Called Quest, you know what I'm saying? Just you know what I'm saying, the educational teaching, what was it called, the edutainment teachings of the KRS-One, you know what I'm saying, all of that shit, whatever. No, she wasn't feeling it at all. So but this is a term that uses in blind being in the sense of being covered or hidden from being in sight, right? So like if somebody has a blind spot about something, this means that they're really not able to really get it. You know what I'm saying? They don't see the value in it. They don't understand how important that shit is. You know what I'm saying? They're missing the bigger picture at the end of the day, right? Sort of like the current leadership that we have here in the United States, probably throughout the world. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Energetically, absolutely. They got a blind spot for ethical issues out here in these streets. But I ain't gonna get into a political discussion. I'm gonna just keep it moving about this blind spot, right? So I wanted to talk about this blind spot because where I notice it being that is in that house of Pisces. You know what I'm saying? And there's variations culturally on how that shows up and what that looks like. Because in Western modern astrology, the ones that, you know what I'm saying, most of us deal with, right? The 12th house is often seen as the realm of the subconscious mind, right? It relates to the hidden fears, desires, and the dreams that are yet to be moved out of the depths of your being and onto the surface, right? This can be a message with a strong 12th first house to confront their demons and work with this realm for healing. Now, if you miss what I'm saying at the very end of the day, in essence, because I did a lot of dealing with that eighth house, right? because that eighth house is where that transformation is at. This 12th house right here, right? This is the realm of the subconscious. This is why you do the shit that you do. This is giving us an opportunity to confront our demons so that we can work within this realm, those things that we're biased about, so that we can really see some true healing get down in these spiritual streets. Now, in Vedic astrology, the 12th house may relate to like the idea of spiritual liberation. So that, you know what I'm saying? It kind of works in the same way, because many traditions recognize that this shadow work, fam, at the end of the day, absolutely essential for us to be able to move forward, for us to find that psychological healing. Because the Western astrology, it refers more to a personal experience and psychological healing. And Vedic astrology might be more interested in the soul and your transcendence. You see what I'm saying? So being geared more towards freeing ourselves for the material realm and coming to the end of a karmic cycle, we'll ascend to the next cycle. You know what I'm saying? Better and stronger. So this is the way that, you know what I'm saying, it looks on a spiritual tip. You know what I'm saying? Where we're moving from, you know what I'm saying, being focused on a lot of this third dimensional shit, you know what I'm saying? Where we shifting into 5D. This is what that conversation is all about, right? Let me talk about the 12th house, because I just really want to dive into this, because this 12th house, this is some important work right here. This right here, ruled by the house of Pisces. This is the house of Pisces. The 12th house is considered the unseen realm. This domain is the last house in the cycle, right? So this the very last, Pisces is the last zodiac on the wheel. You dig what I'm saying? Now, going back to this eighth house, because see, this eighth house, I was really like diving deeply into this too, because the eighth house, it rules your conscious plunge into these alternate worlds, right? This contains all things that exist without a physical form, right? The 12th house does, I'm saying. Like this deals with our dreams, our secrets, our emotions, you know what I'm saying? Along with, you know what I'm saying, any little secret under the cover shit you got going on, like affairs, addictions, and a lot of mental health issues, you know what I'm saying? That type of shit, right? The 12th house is considered also the most psychic, the most spiritual, the most mysterious area of the birth chart. The 12th house is about your unconscious capacity. And typically, this remains under control. Like we usually don't really bring this stuff up into our awareness. We typically we operate on autopilot, right? Until we get into a situation where we got to dive into our own mind, our own psyche, so that we can really get that healing that we're looking for. Now, folks that are born with planets, excuse me, folks that are born with planets in this area, if you have planets in your 12th house, you are often highly intuitive. You are the spiritual gangsters out here in these streets, not the only ones on the block, mind you. You know what I'm saying? But you definitely are a spiritual G out here in these streets, whether you know it or not. And many times you may have encountered like psychic and spiritual experiences as well. See, when you have planets that transit your eighth house, when they talk about like the transits that's happening now, this is that weekly astrology report where we're talking about the transits and everything. When the planets is transiting in the 12th house, this is inviting us to release things that don't work for us no more, all the shit that ain't serving us no more, giving us an opportunity to take a deep look at our emotional truths, right? And find time so that we can rest, recover, reflect, recuperate. You know what I'm saying? Going into hermit mode, going into that hangman energy, right? Where we get that time of reflection. This is why the 12th house is also associated with the shadow side of our personality as well. Because this is that part we ain't sharing with folks, right? Word. Okay. But embracing our shadow, you know, you got to know who was that Carl, who was that? We know who it was. It was Carl Jung out here in these streets, really giving us this discussion on how essential it is for us to integrate all parts of ourselves, making us whole. We got to embrace this shadow. This is some work that Carl Jung's been doing like back in the day, you know what I'm saying, where he introduced this concept of the shadow, making it so important, so essential for our healing, for us to be able to embrace all aspects, including, not limited to, but definitely including that shadow must be embraced. Now, the 12th house is related to our karma and the debts that we have to pay, right? Everything good and bad that we have ever done, it sits there patiently waiting to reveal itself to be exposed. And some things might be from the past, previous lifetimes, all of those energetic patterns, right? So hidden energy and secrets, they feel so at home, so comfortable, so on point in this 12th house. They just fit there just as snugly as they possibly could, because this is the house of secrets. And anything that happens there causes things to be concealed from our view, right? This is like things that's being hidden from our conscious awareness. And sometimes, unfortunately, this charge it to the game. You know what I'm saying? That people are deliberately hiding shit like that from us, right? Now, prominent 12th house energy people, you know what I'm saying? People that got stuff like the sun, the moon, you know what I'm saying? Jupiter, shit like that in that 12th house. These people typically, they can be blinded because it's difficult for them to see things clearly, especially where emotions and people are involved. Because this 12th house energy, it helps us to connect within. And we often feel drawn to like spiritual work. People want to work as counselors, psychologists, coaches, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? This is work that really helps us to be able to dive deep into our feelings, our thoughts, and our ideas with other people, being able to bounce those ideas, getting a soul group together, you know what I'm saying? And talking about ascension and the symptoms of that shit. Definite 12th house work. 12th house people have a special mission out here in these spiritual streets in order for us to truly fulfill our purpose out here. You're going to be tested along the way, family. You know what I'm saying? Because people in general, for folks that got prominent 12th house placement, this can be the hardest test, babe. This can be the hardest test. Often finding out that people that you trust, people that you love, these is the folks that end up hurting at the most. This is where the secret enemies is at, right? Secret enemies is a mysterious phenomenon. It fits well into this 12th house, right? Because it's anything that's deeply psychological and related to this house. So secret relationships, not just limited to affairs, it could also be secret player haters out here in the streets, right? So let's talk about like just some of these major placements that's, you know what I'm saying, in these 12 house. In this 12th house. I'm still getting over this bullshit ass flu that I caught a couple of weeks ago. I don't know, man. These streets, boy, I'm gonna have to upgrade my vitamin C game. So let's talk a little bit about this moon being in the 12th house. Because if your moon is in the 12th house, you know what I'm saying? 12th house themes is gonna come into play with how you move through your emotions, fam. Now, this might be something that's really not seen by the rest of the world because this is like your internal shit. You know what I'm saying? This is what's going on inside of you. Nobody else may not be experiencing this, right? See, the 12th house ruling planet and the sign, which it being Neptune, it being Pisces, respectively, right? These are both very compassionate energies, right? And this moon placement, it makes you so receptive to others. It really means that, you know what I'm saying, that you have a high capacity, to try and understand how everybody is operating and why they do shit the way they do it. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? Folks that have that moon in that 12th house, a lot of times they focus on the healing of other folks. Well, as your own healing, let's not get it twisted, but really am particularly interested in the healing and well-being of the whole and understanding, how we can do those unique things that will assist us along our journey. You've heard. Now, the sun in your 12th house. The sun in your chart deals with your personality, and it is much more outward and an expression of who you are compared to the moon sign, right? Because you shining that light, you know what I'm saying, with that sun. Now, having the sun in your 12th house, it means that you project outwardly from the place of your subconscious, you know what I'm saying? Now, I want you to just really think about how this shows up. This is big Piscean energy, baby. This is the Piscean vibration, like nobody's business, right? See, let me give you an example, like for me, because I got the sun in the 12th house, and I'm a Leo, you know what I'm saying? So I'm a Leo sun, for example, but it with my sun being in the 12th house, you can think of me as being a Pisces oriented Leo, because that's big Pisces energy going on in that particular situation right there. This is also going to be a person that's really in touch with their intuition, that star player connection, right? They may have also they may also have an easier time making like decisions that's based in your intuition. So sometimes you can just make a decision just real quick based on, you know what I'm saying, based on a feeling. I got to tell you something. See, I used to think that shit was a weakness for me because I would just get a feeling about some shit and everything. And then I would second guess it because I came up with the answer too fast. And so then I would go back and forth with that whole mental spin thing about that and everything. So it would really, kind of throw me off of my square. But the more I learned to rely on that, the more gangster my life started becoming for real. So, I mean, I'm just one of those people. Living intuitively works for me. May not work for you, you know what I'm saying? But it definitely works for me. Now, let's talk about the Venusian vibration in the 12th house, because this is about how we deal with our relationships. It's how we attract, how we attain and retain and experience, you know what I'm saying, romance and relationships and shit like that. So I like to dive into that energy, see how that works with the 12th house too. See, the placement of Venus in that chart, it relates to how we experience love and relationships, beauty and pleasure too. I almost forgot about that shit, right? Having Venus in your 12th house means that you could be very invested in deep relationships and how they work. You ain't just here to look on the surface and shit like that. Deep diving energy. But beyond finding a partner, you may want to understand bigger picture or the purpose of these relationships. See, somebody that got Venus in their 12th house is going to deal with desire a little bit easier than the average person. You go have that in check, just a little something, something. See, some people we can experience desire based on like external factors, right? But people with this placement, they don't have no trouble looking within and facing the deep depths of themselves or another person. So, big energy, you know. Big energy. So I'm gonna just, you know what I'm saying? Because for time's sake, I'm gonna chill right there. But you get the idea, like check these planetary energies, you know what I'm saying? That Mercury being that, prefer interest in learning methods, you know what I'm saying? And having that up in the 12th house, that's big psychic energy, fam, for real. So let me keep it moving though. Let me keep it moving because I can just spin on this all day. But you get where I'm going, right? So relationships for people with prominent energy in the 12th house, listen, the truth is that the 12th house prominent individuals, right? Folks that got, you know what I'm saying, heavy placement, big energy in that 12th house, a lot of times they feel like they got secret enemies, and a lot of times that's a big concern of folks that have that big 12th house energy. But let me let you know, fam, at the end of the day, your greatest enemy is typically yourself. If this is you, you see. See, 12th house people, they really are kind, caring, empathetic, you know what I'm saying? And just really have a special connection with folks out here in these streets. The heart is just like really a pure heart. They enjoy helping other people. Like this is where that pleasure gets down. The lack of boundaries that the 12th house folks, that the people that got prominent 12th house energy, see, this is where we get tripped up at. You know what I'm saying? See, them lack of boundaries, because it makes it difficult to see people clearly. And this is what often leads to disappointment for those particular individuals. Just saying. Just saying. However, the unfortunate truth is that everybody got an enemy. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has enemies. At some time in their lives, we all feel we all get betrayed. That's just the way life goes. And if you have never had that experience, keep living. You'll get your day. I assure you of that. But don't worry, because if you dive deep into this 12 house, this blind spot check-in we doing right here, this is going to help us navigate this energy so that we can really set ourselves up for the win. You heard? All right. So everybody got enemies at some point. We all feel this way. This is a part of life and the reality that impacts people that got the 12th house energy that's real strong and prominent a lot more than others, because these cats is just so empathetic, right? We came here to earth to learn lessons based on other people's suffering out here in these streets. It's just, you know what I'm saying? It's a special trip we making them, for real on this particular life cycle right here. So whether or not you have planets, you still got a 12th house placement. You don't necessarily have to have any of those planets in the 12th house. You still have a 12th house placement. This right here is where your blind spot is located. When you learn the energetic expression of your 12th house, the 12th house ruler, you can dive deeply into this subconscious mind. Okay. So let me let you know where your 12th house will be. This is going towards the rising sign. I want to encourage folks, if you do not know your birth time, do your very best to try and figure out what that is. Because see, when you unlock that time of birth, you open up a whole nother dimension to your chart that really helps you gain a lot more clarity and insight as to the work that you came here to do, your best gifts, your strengths, all types of stuff. Like, you have definitely opened up the door to be able to connect to your star player, your G card out here in these streets. And definitely stop through the cipher and maybe we can assist you in figuring out what that is. Like if you was born AM, PM, and then, we pull out the pendulum and see, where the energy is lying at. And you know what I'm saying? Get a few questions in here to try to see if we can just kind of pinpoint, where that rising energy lies at. But let me set it off right quick. So if you are a Taurus rising, not a Taurus sun, but a Taurus rising, which means Taurus is in your first house, then you have Aries in your 12th house. And Aries energy being in that 12th house, they say, now this is just the word on the street, that, that passion, that take initiative energy, that impatient energy, that impulsive, that overbearing energy, it could potentially be a blind spot moving forward. Gemini rising, your 12th house is Taurus, right? And Taurus energy is connected to values. It's connected to luxury. It's connected to comfort. It can also be kind of stubborn. Word on the street is it can be lazy sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Taurus is hard working. Now, let's not get it twisted on that shit when they doing it. When they ain't, they ain't. You know what I'm saying? That blind spot for Gemini rising, check out the Taurus energy. Cancer rising, you got Gemini in your 12th house. Gemini energy is about being social and connected. You know what I'm saying? Gemini energy is witty. It can also be gossipy, kind of two-faced it too. Cancer rising, your 12th house, your blind spot is in that Gemini energy. Look into that. Leo rising, your 12th house is Cancer. Cancer energy can be very nurturing, very sensitive, highly intuitive, can also be kind of moody and clingy, okay? So Leo rising, your blind spot, your 12th house is Cancer. Look into that shit. Virgo rising, your 12th house is Leo. Leo energy is that leader energy, very dramatic, very regal, can also be very prideful. vain, bossy, can be a show off, huh? Virgo rising, your blind spot is in Leo. That's where your 12th house is. Libra rising, your 12th house is Virgo. Virgo is about the details. It's about perfection. Virgo energy is modest. It's very analytical. Very sharp mind that Virgo energy is, huh? It can also be a nitpick and a hypochondriac as well. So Libra rising, your blind spot is Virgo energy. That's where your 12th house is. I'm just saying. Scorpio rising, your 12th house is Libra. Libra energy is balanced, it's friendly, it's perceptive, it's just. It's about the business of fairness, word, huh? However, it is also passive aggressive. It can be suspicious and a lot of times going along just to get along. So Scorpio rising, your 12th house, your blind spot is Libra energy. Study Libra energy. Sagittarius rising, your 12th house is Scorpio. Scorpio is a mysterious energy, that occult energy, right? Very intriguing, right? It can also be very secretive, very jealous, very vengeful. Sagittarius rising. Your blind spot is in Scorpio energy. That's where your 12th house is. Study that Scorpio energy. Capricorn rising. Your 12th house is Sagittarius. Sagittarius energy is all about that freedom, very friendly, optimistic, enthusiastic, yeah. It can also be thoughtless, especially making them reckless comments. You know what I'm saying? Also be know-it-all energy. Just saying, just saying. Capricorn rising. Your 12th house, your blind spot is in Sagittarius energy. You might want to check into that. Just saying. Aquarius rising. Your 12th house is in Capricorn. Now, Capricorn energy is disciplined. They bout it. They prudent. They structured. They about the business of hard work. Trust me when I'm telling you. But Cap energy is also down for suffering, can be very restrictive. And they can also use people to further their agenda at the end of the day. Aquarius rising. Your blind spot is Capricorn. You might want to check that out. Capricorn energy in the 12th house. Yeah. All right, Pisces rising. Your 12th house is Aquarius. Aquarius energy is humanitarian. It's very creative. It's progressive. It's that unique energy, right? But Aquarian energy can also be aloof, can also be avoidant. You heard about the notorious Aquarius ghosting folks out here in these streets. They can be broad in their perspective and how they go about things, just, blase, blah, you heard? But Pisces rising, your blind spot is this Aquarius energy. Study the Aquarius. It's in your 12th house. That's where your blind spot is. In Aries rising, your 12th house, no doubt, is Pisces. And Pisces energy, again, I declare, it is very imaginative, it's very mystical, sensitive, and it can also cling, it can be attached, right? It has issues with boundaries. It can be obsessive, it can be clingy, it can be, delusional. And delusional is not like we talking about somebody that's in a mental health ward, and no disrespect to people that's been in those conditions, because shit happens and everybody just one fucking crisis away from being in that situation they damn self. However, let me get back, let me jump back down off the soapbox. However, delusion is when you hold these beliefs that may not be true on a global scale, right? So if you think one particular race of people, they all player haters, or they all mean, or they all this, or they all lazy, or whatever in the fuck that is, that's a delusion. If you are holding on to thoughts that perhaps you might be a little bit better than everybody else is, then that is a delusion. See, those types of thought processes, delusion. We got a lot of religious delusion. You know what I'm saying? This is the only way to get to the heaven, and if you ain't doing this, then you on your way to hell. That's a delusion as well. Anyway, Aries, Pisces is in your 12th house. Study that Pisces energy. That's going to help you along your journey. So, we talked about these blind spots out here in these streets, and all of the houses, or not all of the houses, all of the zodiacs, blind spots. We need to know this, fam. This is important because, see, this is where the mysteries of our true selves, the secrets of our emotions, you know what I'm saying? This is going to help us dive a little bit deeper into our most influential muses, our inspirations, those things that we hold near and dear in our heart, why we do what we do, making these connections out here in these streets. See, if we ain't really hip to our bias because we've been told that makes you a bad person, it's not good to think like that, then you go struggle a little bit. It's called an existential crisis. Is that what that is? Go struggle a little bit with this. But if you can keep it 100% real with yourself and face your truths, you got an opportunity, fam, to transcend so many limitations, so many things that have held you back. See, this is that blessing in your life that Shiva energy was talking about, that's been coming back from old life cycles and shit like that. See, coming to terms with this right here, recognizing who you are at the end of the day, making peace with that, embracing who it is that you are. You got to love yourself, fam. This is going to definitely help you along your journey. So I hope that today's conversation was definitely helpful for you. Dive deeply into that 12th house energy. I'm here to tell you this right here is some life-changing energy. It is some powerful, life-changing energy. I won't make up no stories. Listen, I got to go. I got things to do, but I just wanted to stop in, drop this 12th house information. Peace and light, peace and love.